leaving a little bit of oil down from about 1,000 feet on. This racetrack is
all par, but now with the sponsorship coming into question, how important is it for you to perhaps win this event this weekend and take that momentum into the off season and maybe get some sponsorship interest?
Well, that wouldn't hurt anything at all. You know, it would definitely help the pocketbook, and would definitely help the interest in our team. We've been a proven winning team, and we struggled early in the season, but we've turned it around since, and have had a great second half of the year. I was hoping that they'd start the points for this Budweiser Classic at half season, but you know, that would really help our momentum in trying to find a sponsor for the '96 season.
Here's Cory Mac. His opponent, Kenny Bernstein. This is just a little bit surprising, if you will, to see these two top runners, including the defending event champion, Bernstein, in the 15th qualifying position. The best he has run in 2 runs is a 4.99, and Cory McClenathan at a 5.00, the number 16 qualifier.
The defending event runner-up.
I was very surprised to see these two tailing at the end of the qualifying sheet. Don't look for them to be there long.
I don't look for them to be there after this run. We know the track's great, a 4.74 out of the far lane, and Kenny Bernstein using the near lane. He's seen a 4.88 in front of him. Now, Bernstein had been bitten by the clutch problems, and in addition to the clutch disc difficulties, he was trying to do some R&D work on an entire new clutch system.
Well, they had a bad time to try that with all the other problems, and I look for them to try it again someday when it gets squared away.
It is not a good weekend for the McDonald's team. Both tires letting go right at the starting line. He smoked the tires. Tommy Johnson knows about that. Kenny Bernstein rips off a 4.85 at 300. As Cory Mac climbs out of the car, he appears to be okay. He's waving his hands to the air. Listen to the crowd. Well, now that's a strange moment, but I got to say, if we could pick somebody to join us that has done just about everything one could do with a top-fueled dragster. Tommy Johnson, watch this.
It looks pretty familiar.
He blew those tires immediately, just as soon as they started going into a real severe wheel spin.
It's a little different than what I had happen. He blew both tires, I blew one and cut the chassis in half. Cory blew both tires and had nothing to go with it.
Now, at Atlanta last year, when you had that mishap, Tommy, did you know what had happened when it happened?
I didn't know what had happened. Yeah, I thought that the motor had blown up, and I was in my own oil sliding around like that. I'm sure Cory thought the same thing.
What's incredible here, he had to know that the tires had gone because it dropped down on the skid plates on the bottom of the chassis. The car spun around. He kept the front end out of it, but this is almost like a pendulum. All the weight's in the back of these cars now, and it just kind of eased itself up against the guardrail. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of chassis problems unless blowing the tires caused it. But it has got to be a shock to the McDonald's team. Now they're going to be checking Cory Mac. You see the medical technicians from the safety safari over, and he's getting helped over to the ambulance, I'm sure, to have a quick checkout. They want to make sure everything's okay, and we'll get Alan Reinhart to check on him and give you an up-to-date report as soon as we have it. But when you do that, you destroy a lot of parts. I mean, that hurts.
It probably did. It probably hurt the motor, if anything. The motor was freewheeling, if you say, and the motor went high. It probably hurt the internally motor, and maybe a chassis problem, small chassis problem.
Let's look at it again from this angle. The wing got it. You can see that happen. It looks like both tires almost simultaneously let go. What happens when this goes is a tire goes into a severe distortion. It actually stretches completely beyond the realm of thought. When they get to going that fast, centrifugal force throws all the weight to the outside, and that's where all the weight is on one of these big slicks. As the tire surface itself is really the weight in one of those tires, and it just stretches to the point, I guess in that case, it just stretched the tire out and blew them both. That's the speculation. Who knows? And
well done, Sherlock.
Yeah, right. I'm sure the guys at Goodyear will go and dissect the remaining pieces trying to figure it out. It is not a commonplace occurrence to see that happen. It is most unusual to see them blow the tires, as it is been a remarkable tribute to the folks at Goodyear for creating and developing those great Goodyear Racing Eagles that are used in Top Fuel and Funny Car.
We've had very few problems. If as fast as these cars accelerate, Goodyear's done a great job of keeping up in the technology department and keeping the problems to a minimum. There's one of my guys wanting to see right now what's going on, and I'm sure they'll solve this problem and this won't happen again.
When you work backwards, Tommy, in an incident like this, would you say that there was just too much clutch in the car and the tires just they boiled right out of the hole, and that was the end of it?
Yeah, Cory runs a beadlock wheel, as you can see there, which holds the tire on the outside of the wheel. I did not run a beadlock wheel, and I had an inner liner, which the air came out of the inner liner into the outer tire and can't stand that much air pressure, which the inner liner has 40 pounds. The regular tire has around 5. The regular tire can't handle 40 pounds, and mine blew up. Here in this instance, I'm not sure what caused that. They'll have to go back and find out. But, it's a rare occurrence something like that would happen. And I'm sure Goodyear will take that tire, take it back to the laboratory, find out what happened, and solve the problem.
Got to tell you, never a dull moment around an NHRA drag race.
With 9
that's
national event victories among them.
Well, I want to remind the folks at home that we interrupted the session of qualifying of Top Fuel to run round number 1 of the Budweiser Classic. There's a lot of Top Fuel dragsters yet to come, a lot of which are not qualified. The problem for Cory Mac is he is in the 16th spot, was not able to defend his position, but is 16th at a 5 flat. And that's not too good when you're going into the remainder of this session and another one later on. Let's go down now to Alan Reinhardt.
Mac, I had a chance to chase down Cory Mac while he was actually in the back of the ambulance and talk to him, ask him if he was okay. He said, yeah, he was fine. He had no idea what happened. The crew seems to think that the car will be fine and they can put it back together for that last qualifying session. But Cory's right foot is swollen up pretty big. He said he doesn't know what it is, but something definitely hit him on the foot. So the medical crew is going to check him out, but don't be surprised to see that McDonald's car back in the last session. And Cory is okay, although he does have some kind of a bruise on his foot.
That is good news indeed. We talk a lot, and maybe we don't talk enough